only recently, not so recently, in the 1980s, did the US Supreme Court rule that artificial feeding is also called medical care. Before that time, every doctor knew water, nutrition, oxygen, everyone's entitled to. What's also true is that if a person has been lying in a coma for several months and the blood pressure begins to drop, there is no mitzvah to rush in and raise the blood pressure with pressor agents. That is not required. You cannot respond to the next emergency if the quality of life is unacceptable. And we'll talk more on that, what's called unacceptable. So here you have, it's an article I wrote some years ago, and I blew up wrong direction. Yeah. A wonderful story. Gemara Ksubos. Yoshua ben Levi had a friend. The friend was the angel of death, the Malach HaMaros. And he met with him regularly, spoke to him, they studied together. And they asked the angel of death, show me my place in Gan Eden. Show me my place in paradise. So, fine, but the angel of death, as portrayed in the Gemara, marches with as the picture we have for Father Time, with a scythe, with a sword. As they're walking, Yeshua ben Levi says to him, that sword scares me. Let me hold the sword. So he holds the sword, he takes him to Gan Eden, he said, here, that's going to be your spot. And Yeshua ben Levi jumps into Gan Eden. Angel of death, that's not fair. It's his job to prepare him for Gan Eden. He can't jump in ahead of time. So he says, I'm going to pull him out. And Yeshua ben Levi responds, I swear in the name of God, I won't come out. Such a problem now presents itself halachically. He swore, so the angel of death calls upstairs to Rabboni Shalom. He says, what do I do now? He says, well, check his record. If he never took a vow which he then abrogated, Hataras Tedorim, then we're not going to make him do it now. Yes, leave him there. Yeshua ben Levi was one of the rare people who entered Gan Eden without dying. But the poor angel of death lost his sword. He said, give me back my sword. And Yeshua ben Levi answered him, Meshuggah bin nicht. Give you back your sword, you aren't killing people. So again, they called upstairs. Kodesh Baruch Hu said, this one, you are right. And a voice thundered, give him back the sword. My people need it. Death is not always a calamity. What now?
I think it's because when you click it, then it...
What'd you do?
It's my fault.
It's not working out. Oh, no, go backwards. Okay. Here's several other cases. I blew them up for you. Famous story of Rebbe, the one who wrote our Mishnah, our Mishnayos. He was dying, obviously suffering great discomfort. And his students surrounded him, praying. As long as they were praying, the angel of death couldn't get in. So the maidservant threw down a vase from the balcony. It disturbed the prayers, and Rebbe died. And the Talmud lauds the wisdom of the maidservant. She knew better than the students. She knew it was time to die. This is the next one. Disciples of Rabbi Akiva. One of them took sick, and the students neglected to visit him regularly. Rabbi Kiva, the teacher, came to visit him and saw he was in dire strait. He did something for him, managed to bring him forth, and they came to criticize the students. And the students, right? He does not visit the sick like one who sheds blood. But on this, there's the commentary of the Ran, of Rabbeinu Nissim. The Ran interprets that, adds to what Rabbi Kiva said. Rabbi Kiva said, why didn't you visit your friends? Maybe he needed your help, you'll help him live. And if you saw that he really should die, you could at least pray he should die. Even that little bit you didn't do for him. Here you have an astounding statement. It's proper to go to the Gabbai in Shul, right? Make a Misha Berach for someone who's sick. Tell him to make the Misha Berach backwards. To pray that someone should die. The reason we don't do it is because we don't know yet whether we prayed hard enough. Hard enough he should live and not die. Here's a fabulous one that most people, these two that speak to psychological illness. Rebbe was dying most likely of intestinal cancer, the way the Gemara describes it, running to the bathroom every time and so on. Here you have a case, famous Choni Hamagil, the circle drawer. Why is it called the circle drawer? He had a special relationship with God. Once there was no rain, and everybody prayed for rain, God didn't respond. So Choni drew a circle, stood in the circle, says, God, I'm not moving from the circle till you make it rain. And immediately began to rain. So he got his reputation, that he deals with God like a son deals with a father. He climbs on his head, and the father is pleased. He fell asleep. He's the great sleeper, Rip Van Winkle. Fell asleep for 70 years. And when he awoke, he came into his town. Nobody knew who he was. He came into the Besmedrash study hall. And people realized soon, by speaking to him, this man is an unbelievable scholar. And someone said, we haven't seen such scholarship since the days of Choni Hamagil, since the days of Choni the circle drawer. And this poor Choni said, I am Choni Hamagil. And he said, he's a savant, he's a kook, maybe a great Talmud Chacham, but he's not all there. That so disturbed him that he had no social group, that he pleaded with God, O chavruse, O mesusa, give me a fellowship or give me death. Here's a man who was suffering psychological trauma, not physiological. And the sages speak positively about his request. He didn't commit suicide. He asked God, don't extend my life anymore. I've had it. The next case, a wonderful story. It's in the Medrash Tehillim. Famous Talmud Yosi ben Chalafta. An old lady came to him and said, I'm too old. I want to die. And they asked her, why did you get so old? What did you do that earned God's grace to let you get so old? And she said, all my life, first thing in the morning, I go to the synagogue and I pray for my children, etc., etc. So Yossi ben Chalaf said, so don't go to the synagogue. Stay away. She stayed away for 3 days and she died. Here's what? A psychological trauma, a psychological distress. But the quality of life was lost. Therefore, you're not required to do anything to prolong the life. She was prolonging her life by going to shul every morning. So stop the medicine. Don't go to shul.